What up, Buzz? You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack 'em. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things, MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong, history. And we good on that, put Jilla on the track and we good on whack. 3, 2, 1, everybody say Bulls on tap, Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty, Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery, nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners, we got the stats in the news. Go and subscribe, hang out with Buzzy and Goose. Tapping with us, we the truth, Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, and we're here to kind of like recap the preseason, have a little conversation in between this horrible preseason for the Chicago Bulls, who are looking like they're about to go 1-4, and what we're looking from the preseason going into the regular season. Before we do that, be sure to go on TapSportsNet.com for all Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at On Tap Sportsnet. Following Goose at Goose on Tap and me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, please go to the YouTube channel, On Tap Sportsnet YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Tell us why we're stupid. Pickles and Seagulls. Let's go. Goose! Bulls are still on right now. Our boy OB just got in the game. So I'm pretty excited to watch him get some time. They also did put Dalen Terry in, so I'm ready to tune out altogether. But how are you, man?
I'm doing fantastic. I am in the truck. I'm on a little rendezvous. You got the details there. We're going to leave those off the air. But yeah, Goose is on the road, having a fun time. Not out at the bar, but got caught in the truck. But we're still doing the thing like usual, because that's what we do here at On Tap. We make it happen.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you this. You sound great in that. You just sound great in there.
Yeah, I sound great in the truck. Just a nice little mobile studio. Maybe we'll bring the green screen with next time and just pull it up.
It's looking good, dude. It's looking good in there. All right, so Bulls are going to finish this 1-4, Goose. How much is there to talk about from last week? Not much has changed besides Derek Favors getting signed for a little bit, then being waived, but then he's going to be in the Windy City Bulls or something. So there's a little bit of news there. Other than that, nothing has really changed. What I will tell you, though, is something on Bulls Twitter has happened. People are now starting to argue about Patrick Williams.
Aha.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying what I've been saying pretty much the entire time, and what you've been saying pretty much the entire time. We think that the kid has the talent there. Just sometimes we think he lacks the, I don't know, killer instinct or whatever you want to call it. So can I get your opinion on Patrick Williams this preseason?
I mean, this preseason has not been kind to Pat. I think he's had one successful game. I guess you could call it 1.5, with tonight's performance being a little bit more aggressive than usual, getting up more shot attempts, kind of getting to the basket more than just settling for sitting in the corners on the 3-point line and praying that he's left open. So I think there have been some positives from Pat, but at this point in his contract year and the last year on his rookie deal, well, we need to see all or nothing. Otherwise, you're going to get a Kobe White contract, and you're going to make the Bulls look really smart for not even considering the potential of these $20 million a year potential offers that we had analysts putting out there as suggestions for where the Bulls could start or end in negotiations with Patrick Williams. So preseason wasn't great for Pat, in my opinion. Like I said, tonight, the aggression was nice to see, but without the success to follow, it really doesn't mean much at this point. I need to see raw numbers, raw impact, and it hasn't happened yet. So hopefully here in the very near future, Pat will get his shit together.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping too. I thought our friend MK Hoops from CHGO, I thought he had a very valuable point tonight. He he put a tweet out, and basically in a nutshell, it said, yeah, I really like that Pat's being aggressive. We've seen him be aggressive before, but how, he's been hyped up by his teammates before the game. I guess because Kobe and Pat tonight had a little coming together before the game started. And, Kobe was trying to hype Pat up. I mean, how many times are you going to have to do that to get this kid to realize what he has in his hands? Again, you believe the talent is there with Patrick Williams. That's why the whole reason I'm bringing this up is because I don't see Bulls Twitter argue like a ton, but like this is a hot topic. A lot of people are going at it, so I just want your clarified opinion. Like, you think he has the talent, it's not translating. Is that what you think?
The kid is 6'9", 245, can do absolutely anything he wants on a basketball court. It's just a matter of putting his mind to it. And like I said, tonight we did see the aggression, which is what Bulls fans want to see. But we can't get excited about Patrick Williams' dunk attempts anymore. Like, I need to see finishes. I need to see getting to the free throw line. I need to see you. The numbers need to be there, especially in preseason where teams are not playing their stars the whole game. You're not getting the full level of competition. This should be more of an open gym kind of feel for you to showcase what you can do once you get these opportunities. Tonight, Zach wasn't there. He tried to step up, and the numbers just didn't follow. But every other night in this preseason just hasn't been great for him either. I believe he had 2 points the one game. 2 points? Like, come on.
Okay, so that was a sick-ass oop that just happened there. Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry to Julian Phillips. Wow, that was sweet. This is cool kind of talking with you when it's on. How fun is that? Okay, end question on Patrick Williams. After his aggressiveness shown tonight, there we go, that was a fucking mouthful. Would you rather have him come off the bench, or would you rather have him start with like the style of play that you saw from him? Would you give him a chance in that sixth man role to come in and be that guy when people start moving to the bench, or, like Zach and Vooch and DeMar going to the bench and then him being the aggressor? Because did you know what I'm saying? Because like he showed today that he has some dog in him. I thought, he was all over the place. Maybe those shots do fall in that situation, right?
Outside of Kobe White this preseason, Torrey Craig has kind of been the only player that has kind of exceeded my expectations throughout the preseason. So I think if you can reward somebody like him and put Pat in a better position to have more opportunities, and you are going to expect more offense out of him, at least you should expect more offense out of him this season than you do Torrey Craig, especially if Kobe's your starter, which every game of the preseason was the case. And I hope that continues to be the case because I really like to see what we've seen from Kobe. I don't think moving Pat to the bench would be a bad idea, but I also am conflicted with the idea of splitting Pat and Kobe up because, as you've already pointed out in this show, those two on the floor together does tend to be a positive thing, even if Kobe shouldn't have to hype Pat up. If you're going to get the best out of Pat, it seems to be when Kobe's on the floor with him.
And so that goes to my next question. Kobe White is already solidified in your mind that he's a starting point guard entering next Wednesday when the Bulls tip off.
It may not be what I want to see. What I want to see is what we've talked about previously on this show, right? Is probably more of the Caruso, Torrey Craig, just start defensive minded and have that extra scoring come off the bench because you have three offensive stars that are supposed to carry your offense because they definitely don't carry your defense. I just kind of like mixing that up a little bit more personally. But I want nothing more than to see Kobe White have a great season and succeed, and him starting makes me happy. So if that's the decision that they make, I'm cool with it. From a strategic standpoint, I think there's a better route and a way to shuffle the deck. But for me, this season is more about Kobe White and Patrick Williams than it really is for everybody else, because I want to know if we have anything left on this roster if they hit that eject button.
Right.
It's Pat's contract year. Kobe signed what could be a very team-friendly contract for a starting level player if everything shakes out the way that we hope it does. So that's kind of where I'm at. But Kobe starting makes me happy, even if I think Alex Caruso is the better fit to do so.
Favorite newcomer of the preseason? Do you have one?
Like I just touched on a little bit ago, I'd say probably Torrey Craig.
I meant I meant kind of young player. I'm sorry, like like the OB kid or Carleek Jones, Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry. Torrey Craig's been around the league for a minute. We know what Torrey Craig can do.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Julian Phillips just being the most recent pick, kind of just curious to see if he ends up beating out Dalen Terry for the spot. I don't think that both of them are going to be on this roster long term. So seeing that battle kind of play out is kind of what has me excited, and I'm more so leaning Phillips at this point.
This fucking kid, he goes, has Zach Levine moved up on your 5 fingers of favorite Bulls? All right, let's run down it. Let's run down the 5 favorite Bulls at the moment. DeMar DeRozan will come in at number 1, no doubt about it. God, number 2 is hard, Goose. I think I'm gonna have to say Caruso. I love me some Io DeSumo. I like Vooch a lot. I do like Vooch a lot. I really like Kobe White. So no, he's not in the top 5 at this time. I apologize.
Wow.
So still good though. I still like Zach. He's in top 10 for sure.
Not even 10 guys in a playoff rotation on a good team.
I think Hank just threw a good, I won't say comparison, but a parallel. Eddie Curry had a ton of talent too, but you either want it or you don't, and Bulls fans are getting tired of wanting Pat to want it. I agree with that. Time to show it or get out of it.
The thing that sucks here with the Pat situation, since that seems to be the topic of the night, the Bulls have waited until his contract year to make a decision to pay him or move on from him, essentially. So
right. Oh, yeah, right.
You wasted all that potential value that was once there, that people agreed around the league that he had. And when he still had years of rookie contract control, he was an appealing prospect as a trade chip. But now on an expiring contract where he's looking to get paid and hasn't really met that standard of a top 5 pick in the draft, it's kind of really hard to be excited, because we haven't seen Pat play good enough to be confident in any contract that they give him over like $10-12 million a year. And even that would just kind of be a consolation prize to retain him and see if it is there, because he is still very young. But no, the Pat situation is definitely more interesting to me than just about anything else. Kobe's potential success is something I'm looking forward to, but the Pat storyline playing out the rest of the year is probably the biggest one for me, outside of maybe Zach being traded, because if they don't trade DeMar and they pay him, that's another just catastrophe.
No, I agree with you. The last game here, they just to give you some stats on what they tried to do, the Bulls had 18 3-point attempts heading into the second half, and they are now finishing the game with 33. So I just, it just seems forced. Huh?
Did we change our shooting profile?
No. It's the same. I don't care. It's frustrating. It's just frustrating. They come out hot, and that's what everybody starts saying on Twitter right away. And you're reading all these things. Oh, they're really trying to make it a point. And then you see the second half. Team's not consistent enough. We've said it a million times. That's why season preview shows so hard to do for this team, because it's been the same team. We've been doing the same fucking season preview show for three years. It's been the same fucking thing for 2 years for sure.
Well, and if you can't even execute it in practice games at a high level, it's kind of concerning, because when it comes to the real deal, and I guess same note, don't read too much into preseason. If we were kicking everybody's ass in preseason, we'd be having a completely different tone. But
100%.
But all in all, the Bulls are really good at playing down to their competition, and in preseason, you're playing down to G Leaguers in the second half. So it's kind of just is what it is. I'm not going to ride too much on whether we go 1-4 or 2-3 in our preseason here. We open up against OKC next Wednesday on the 25th, and that's a very winnable game to start the season. Obviously, a very young, talented team.
I really like OKC, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, between having, I think, like 25 plus draft picks in the next 7 years and, having Chet and already having an established superstar, dare I say, an SGA over there, they've really got some stuff cooking. And it's hard to watch all these young teams. That's probably the hardest part for me. The contending teams.
Let me ask you this. Like I was having a conversation about with a dude about the NBA today, and at my work, and he was telling me, he's like, oh, I just can't get into it because of all the super teams. I'm like, dude, you've kind of missed the shift within the last, I feel like, couple of years. I'm like, this league is kind of like weirdly evening out a little bit. Like, I mean, Phoenix, like we were all laughing at Phoenix, like, well, okay, yeah, Kevin Durant and these guys, like, I'm not, they're not going to get past Denver. They're not going to get, like we know that the upper echelon teams are, but the NBA is finally starting to level out. Where are you looking? Do you have any surprise teams you're looking at?
I mean, I think OKC could be a surprise team. They were a surprise team last year already. Yeah. If they take another step forward, they could be that team. I don't know surprise in terms of like success, but I do think the Pelicans are a team to watch.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, dude. Yep.
Big trades, whether it's Zion or Ingram, I think one of those two goes in the very near future. I'm not sure. Maybe they're interested in a Zach LaVine. I'd take an Ingram.
What a haul. Could you imagine what a haul they could get for either of those guys? Moving either of those guys.
Or both. And just say, all right, OKC, we're going to play your game. Although I don't know how much luckier you can get than landing a generational talent like Zion. I know he's looked a little rusty this preseason, and given all the offseason drama, I'm sure he's a little shaky all around, mentally and physically, which we've seen him struggle with the physical side throughout his entire NBA career. But adding that mental aspect could be interesting to see how that plays out. He may simply just want a new situation to feel like he's getting a fresh start. So,
that would be pretty cool, man. I know he's been hurt a lot and shit, but I'd like to have Zion. That'd be fucking. I don't think that'll ever happen, but that would be sweet. Just pipe dream shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like most people, probably not as high on him as I once was. And even then, it's always
just the potential for me.
Factor. Yeah, no, I mean, for where we're at, if you can get a flyer on what was somebody billed as, as good as LeBron, the kind of prospect greater than LeBron. And so we had Victor come out this year. Zion was that marquee prospect that you had seen in the last 5-10 years at the top of the draft. So with the Bulls situation, any way that you land Zion in any state, whether it's in Charles Barkley at the end of his career mode or Duke Zion form, it would be something to take a swing on. But that all comes down to what the Bulls have to trade. And unfortunately, just about everybody else in the league has more in terms of draft assets and high-end young talent or star players. So Bulls tend to get left out of those conversations or just left on red.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Last question, Goose. Last question before we get out of here. Before our next show will it'll be on Wednesday. It'll be after the game, which is very exciting. I do always love when the season starts, but we have to have a real conversation here. We've profiled this roster. We've ran up and down it. We've done that the last couple episodes. Central Division. Where do you have the Bulls falling? Do you have them falling in third?
I'll go
third. Are you
third.
Scared of Indiana like I am and have them coming in fourth?
I'll go with third. I think they can still beat out Indy. Although Indy could be one of those surprise teams with Halliburton and Mathurin, and they've got young talent, and you could argue that Halliburton's a better player than anybody that we have on our roster. So, which kind of ties right back into that Pat thing, even though I wasn't on the Halliburton train, and I can only claim this with hindsight, not revisionist history. Indy is a scary team. And I think they're going to be hungry, and they're not looking to tank. So I don't know. The Central Division is scary, especially because you have probably the championship favorites after this offseason in Milwaukee leading the way.
You have Cleveland right behind them on their tail. It's got to be one of the most exciting. I'm sorry. I think the top three are pretty damn exciting. in the Eastern Conference. I mean, those teams are they could be competitive, like the top 3 or 4, because the Bulls, I mean, most people have them anywhere from like, what was it? 2-3 games under 500 to maybe 2 or 3 games over 500. So they're right there in the middle. Like that's how Indy kind of falls. But Detroit at the bottom might not be at the bottom for long either. But that's a whole other episode because they have a ton of young talent over there. They have a good coach. I think that they're going to make some noise. I think they're going to be pretty good. So, all right, opening night predictions. Who's winning the game?
I think the Bulls take it just because I'm going to put on my sea-red glasses and be optimistic for the start of the season. And then I can complain and cry afterwards if that is not the outcome of the game.
Who's leading the Bulls in scoring opening night?
Zach LaVine.
How many?
33.
Dang. Fuck, you know what, dude? You know what brothers do? They double down.
They double down?
They double down. I'm right with you. 33 points for Zach.
Your seventh favorite player on the team is leading the way.
He's in the top 10. You need to stop being ignorant. All right. Any last words, brother?
No, I mean, I hope the regular season is a lot better than the preseason in terms of record. Though I guess 2-3 or 1-4. Don't really say too much. We know what this team is, but I don't know how much that Tennessee trip did in terms of chemistry if you can't even whoop some ass in preseason.
Yeah, 1-4, bud. They just lost.
They just lost?
Yeah, 1-4.
Well, hopefully we win more than 20% of our games. Or maybe that's what I would like to see. I don't know. You tell me.
It's going to be a ride here at Bulls on Tap. Either way. All right, everybody, be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com for our Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on X, Twitter, whatever you call it, Bulls on Tap and on Tap Sportsnet, at Goose on Tap, at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you listen to us, 5-star rating review because it's cool and tough. Subscribe to the YouTube. We're presented by Sports Illustrated Media Group. And we will see you Wednesday night after the Bulls beat the shit out of the Oklahoma City Thunder because we said so. Let's go, Bulls.